Shalom. Call halal Yahweh Bashim Abishai Bahasham Rakakwadash. Double honors unto the elders, double honors unto the elder bishops. Salutations to all my fellow laborers doing this work in truth and sincerity, risking their lives and their freedom to do so now more so than ever. To the scattered elect that are scattered around the four corners of the earth, that be like unto the speckled bird, the Israelite foreigners among the heathens that look like the heathens. And to the Akwath that are listening and learning to you, I say Shalom. This is your brother Malcolm from the branch of the Great Millstone here in Chicago, coming at you with another lesson in truth. And this is a response to a video that I didn't get a chance to watch. I had planned to watch it, and just got caught up with other things. So much happened over these last couple of days. And but nevertheless, I was planning on watching this video from Elder Apostle Tahar, which is rare that I miss any of his videos. And then I saw that the elder bishop Inop had did a response to it, and I'm gonna open with his with the elder bishops a little bit from his video. But this is Proverbs. Let me read the scripture first. This is Proverbs 1:31, and it reads, "Therefore shall they eat of the fruit of their own way, and be filled with their own devices." All right. And so everything that Esau, Edom, and these heathens did unto us is going to be done unto them. And it's going to be done unto them double. All right. So let's let a little bit of this video play from the elder bishop.
Shalom, all praises to Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahushai, Ba'ashem, Kakwadash. It is your brother Eldai Athana back at you with another video. I want to say all praises to Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahushai, Ba'ashem, Kakwadash. Double honors to the apostles of Great Millstone. Shalom to the bishops. Shalom to the hopeful elect out there. To your brothers, to your sisters. And this video is not going to be too long. The spirit hopped on me. I don't have any scriptures lined up or anything, but Apostle Tahar made this video yesterday. I think it was yesterday, 21 hours ago. He got a lot to pay for, and that's the spirit, because I was finna make the same type of video, but there was a particular video that I was looking for by the channel African Diaspora. I don't know if you brothers, sisters familiar with it. Let me see if I can find it. Yep, African Diaspora News Channel. Right here. And you got the brother, he's kind of heavy set. Yep, this brother right here. And there was a video on here. And the video was Edomite. When I say Edomite, talking about so-called white man. And Edomite was talking about what white people are afraid of, and he said on the camera that white people are afraid of retribution from Jake. He said there's no way impossible. He said there's no way in hell, no way possible that one group of people could put another group of people into such torture and calamities.
Continually, and nonstop.
That those people will not fight back, or there will not be no recompense.
There it is. Let's go to the scriptures. Then I'm going to click to this video that if you're standing up, sit down. If you got anything sharp in your hands, put it down. All right. But let me, and if you're around a Edomite especially, get away from them. You might hurt them. I mean, how they say LOL, BVS, laughing out loud, but very, very, very serious. But this is the book of Revelation 18:6. And it reads, "Reward her even as she has rewarded you, and double unto her according to her works. And the cup which she hath filled, fill to her double." So without any further ado, the horrifying warhounds of conquistadors, how the Spanish used dogs to terrorize the New World.
It's May 1494. Columbus approaches Jamaica, what would become Puerto Bueno. Painted natives are gathered on the beaches, carrying weapons to defend against invasion.
Often they were painted red, so they came with this lie, red men. When Esau Edom is the red man, all right. So the so-called natives, and they weren't running around naked either. They were just not heavily clothed. That's another false. All of them weren't running around naked, man. That's just a portrayal that they like to use. All right. But Esau Edom is the red man, and the first came out red all over, like a hairy garment. They painted garments hairy back then. All right. So I will be stopping to interrupt, but please pay attention to this historical account that this man is about to give. All right.
Columbus is not looking to make peace. He's looking to show strength and get revenge for the destruction of La Navidad, a Spanish settlement destroyed by natives the previous year. Aggression might frighten the natives of Jamaica enough.
How dare you stand up for yourself? How dare you defend yourself against my pale superiority?
That they would avoid future hostilities. Conquistadors take the shore, firing crossbows and slashing with swords, but the natives don't retreat. Then the Spanish release the warhounds. Massive 200-pound mastiffs and lightning-fast greyhounds rush the shore. As the gnashing teeth tear into the flesh, others flee in terror. The ones caught are ripped to pieces by the pursuing dogs. The Spanish admiral takes the now vacant but bloody beach and claims the land for Spain. Columbus later reflects in his journal. He writes that when fighting Indians, one dog is worth 10 soldiers. Welcome to Dates and Dead Guys. Our topic in this episode of the war.
And he's almost proud talking about them. You can see the armor that they put on these dogs too. All right, they put armor on them so that guys would try to slash at them with spears or whatever. It made it hard for them to kill. Okay, but I had a scripture in mind. Let me go to what is it? It's hold on. I just let them talk while I find it, Salakia.
A secret weapon of the conquistadors, and one that is often overlooked in the Spanish conquest of Central and South America. If you were to rank the reasons for Spanish success and conquest of the New World, the top of the list would probably include things like disease, guns, steel, and probably horses. But in the shadows of the history, the tracks of the dog show an ominous presence in the conflict. Cultures throughout world history have used dogs for the purposes of war, and as early as 1260 AD, they were used in Spain. Christopher Columbus, mostly nice guy I hear, brought 20 dogs with him when he returned to the New World in 1493. Most of the dogs used by the Spanish were either mastiffs or greyhounds, and the reasons are obvious. Mastiffs are massive and intimidating, and greyhounds are fast as hell. They are also lovable, but good at ripping throats.
All right, good at ripping throats. This is Ezekiel 35:6, and it reads, "Therefore, as I live, saith the Lord power, I will prepare thee unto blood, and shall pursue thee. Since thou hast not hated blood, even blood shall pursue thee." Now you have to understand, the Lord let these proud Edomites, he put them in a position to be over us in the northern kingdom. Man, were we going off. When we said we would come over here to keep the laws, go further into a new land, where never mankind had dwelt, to keep the laws and statutes that we never kept. But then we quickly went off and many of us started worshiping false gods and idols that we had learned in the Assyrian captivity, and being among the heathen, we went back to those ways and maybe even invented some new ones. All right. There was a bunch of wicked shit that we were doing, and the Lord came down on us. All right. And he let these Edomites have their way. But the flip side of that coin is that the Lord would allow you to touch us, but then he's going to turn around and punish you horribly for doing so. All right. Because we are the apple of his eye. All right. But which brings to mind a couple scriptures. Let me get Ecclesiasticus 39 or Sirach? Maybe Beast to Tear. Ecclesiastes 39:28, and it reads, actually, I'm going to start at 27. All these things are good for the godly. So to the sinners, they are turned unto evil. So sinners are people who violate the law. And many of our people were violating the law. And that's why the Lord gave, it was Esau's dominion. That beast had been released for that little time. And he got dominion over the earth. It was his time. All right. Prophecy had to be fulfilled. But it says, and there be spirits that are created for vengeance. In their fury, they lay on sore strokes. In the time of destruction, they pour out their force and appease the wrath of him that made them. Fire and hell and famine and death, all these things were created for vengeance. Teeth of wild beasts and death, and all these were created for vengeance. The teeth of wild beasts and scorpions and serpents, and the sword, punishing the wicked to destruction. All right? And so this is what the Lord allowed to come upon us for breaking the contract, for breaking that covenant. All right? But nevertheless, he's still going to pay Esau because he went overboard with it. All right? It said at the time when our iniquity was at an end, he kept going. All right? And this is how, which was going to be the original name of this. This is how you became a Catholic and a Hispanic. This is how you came to speak Spanish. For the Northern Kingdom tribes out there that are Spanish speaking and proud of it. You got in some Northern Kingdom, especially Issacharites, so-called Mexicans, that look down on other Mexicans or Hispanics that don't speak Spanish, as if that's actually a part of your heritage. This is how you became Spanish speaking. And a lot of you aren't aware of this history or ignore it, or just too much of a damn Uncle Tomahawk to come to that understanding. Or some of you just may be tares too, because there's a lot of tares among Israel. All right.
Invasion of Jamaica, referenced in the opening, demonstrated to the conquistadors how useful these dogs could be. As decades of conquest rolled on, they would be used more and more, and very famous conquistadors, including Ponce de Leon, Hernan Cortez, Hernando de Soto, and Francisco Pizarro, will all use warhounds. Gonzalo Pizarro, the brother of Francisco, used them too, but unfortunately he eats most of them when his men run out of food on a disastrous expedition in 1541. The dogs became so...
Hey, they also fed, as he's probably going to touch on that history, they also fed Israelites to these dogs too. It wasn't like they brought bags of dog food with them. They they had markets, and that's in Bartholomew de la Casa's books. How they had markets where they were just, chopping up human flesh for eating. And Edom was also eating us too. Don't forget about the book, The Delectable Negro. All right. So they were eating these dark flesh natives, these very brown natives that were living in Jamaica at the time, before the people that are there now. You got to remember, Benjamin and Levi got brought to the Caribbean. All right. The brown-skinned Northern Kingdom, all right, were already there. Okay.
So popular for the Spanish that the English king Henry VIII actually gave 400 mastiffs to King Charles V of Spain as a gift. Each of the dogs given to Charles V had spiked collars. Vulnerable areas of these dogs were often covered, and spiked collars were pretty common. Armor sometimes, but thick quilted layers were probably the most common thing used to protect them against arrows from natives. These quilted layers were probably the most common thing used for often covered, and spiked collars were...
Look at that collar. So this dog had, light armor on him, which easily defended against sharp sticks and arrows. All right, if it didn't hit directly. You would have to have hit, if you can see the arrow circling, this chest mark on this monster over this almost 200-pound beast that's moving very quickly, and this was his only vulnerable area, and still there's a whole lot of ribs and armor there, for just natural armor from his bones, and his throat is covered, and he's wearing a spike collar. So when he lunges at you, if his bite doesn't get you, the spike collars penetrated you and opened you up, so it was easy for him to hook his teeth in and finish to rip and tear you open. This was a cruel invention from a cruel people. And like he said, if you think that you can do these sort of things to a race of people, and that there'd never be any payback for it, that you would just slide off into the sunset like that evil, wicked woman who falsely accused Emmett Till and then his brutal death. All right, and just go to her grave as an old woman surrounded by all her grandchildren. If you think that that's the end for her, no. No, the Lord's got a special treatment for her when she comes. Judgment comes when when you come back. As a matter of fact, and that's another thing why he said they like to teach and think that you only live once. No, that's not the case, man. All right, that is not the case at all. It clear that the scriptures clearly tell you that when you live again, that's when the judgment shall come. When we shall live again, and that's going to be a horrific judgment for these things that were done unto us. All right, this is the Lord said He was going to make us His battle axe. All right, I'm looking for Ezra 14, and 34. 39, 34. Yeah, and it says, therefore, if so be it that ye will subdue your own understanding and reform your hearts, meaning your minds, ye shall be kept alive, and after death ye shall obtain mercy. All right? For after death shall the judgment come, when we shall live again. Then shall the names of the righteous be manifest, and the works of the ungodly be declared. So that wicked woman, I can't think of her name. Her name is not important. She's going to be a victim to maybe this very thing that you see on the screen. All right? Who knows? But the Lord is going to punish her and her children. All right? And her grandchildren. Everything that came from her. Everything that she loved is going to die violently and serve a miserable existence of slavery. And this is what the Edomite is afraid of. All right? But this, once again, 2 Ezra 14:35. For after death shall the judgment come, when we shall live again. And then shall the names of the righteous be manifest, and the works of the ungodly shall be declared. And they're having dreams about these sort of things. These Edomites are commonly having dreams, collectively having dreams about going into slavery and destruction. All right? About so-called black people coming off the chariots and putting them into slavery. All right? Because that is exactly what is going to happen.
Pretty common. Armor sometimes, but thick quilted layers were probably the most common thing used to protect them against arrows by the natives. These dogs were very loyal to their owners, but they were vicious in attack. An excellent and serious example comes from a book with a silly title, The Paul Prince of History, written by Stanley Coren. He writes of the 1495 Battle of Vigo Real in Haiti.
I plan to get that book.
Native forces, numbering the thousands, advanced upon the small band of Spaniards. Columbus had given control of the dogs to Alonso de Orellana, a small man who combined physical courage with a personality disposed toward violence and rash cruelty. He gathered the dogs in the fall.
So here you are, fully armored against the people that's not armored at all. All right, with war dogs with armor and protection on them. All right, to a people that don't have steel weapons at all, who are only defending their homes, their families.
Our right flank and waited until the battle had reached a high level of fury. He then released all 20 mastiff, shouting "Tomalos," meaning take them or sick them.
Tomalos.
The angry dogs swept down on the native fighters in a raging phalanx, hurling themselves at the Indians' naked bodies. They grabbed their opponents by their bellies and throats. As the stunned Indians fell to the ground, the dogs disemboweled them and ripped them to pieces. Spinning from one bloody victim to another, the dogs tore through the native ranks. One observer of the battle, Bartholomew de las Casas, reported that in less than 1 hour, each dog had torn apart at least 100 Indians.
This is how you became a Hispanic. This is how you became a Latin. This is how you became Spanish speaking. This is how you became a Catholic. All right? This is how it happened. Then he goes on to try to downplay it. All right? The guy who's doing the narration here. All right? But I have a counter for that. Well, go ahead.
Recognizing that his readers might find this difficult to believe, de las Casas explained that the animals had originally been trained to hunt for wild game. In comparison, they found the skin of their naked human opponents was far easier to tear apart than the hides of deers or boar. Furthermore, the dogs had now developed a taste for human flesh. End quote.
All right. Oh, damn commercial. God damn it. They had to do it, didn't they?
It's a terrifying picture. Now, Las Casas' account sounds exaggerated. There were 20 dogs, and he says they each killed 100 natives in an hour. That means the dogs killed 2,000 people at a rate of one person every 36 seconds.
And don't forget the soldiers were there too. All right. So anybody was wounded was being stabbed or hacked by, ran through with pikes or swords, by these soldiers as well. The dogs weren't attacking the soldiers. It was attacking the natives. They were attacking the natives, the Israelites, who were unarmored and vulnerable.
My dog gets tired after I throw him a frisbee like 12 times, so this seems like a bit of a stretch.
So this guy doesn't know or understand the scriptures and how with every generation everything is weaker, and that the animals and people in times past were just a couple generations ago. I remember the things that the adults and the teenagers could do when I was a child, and the things that I could do when I was a young man compared to the youth of today. So it's in times past, men were way stronger, had way more endurance. Just think of boxing, how they fought those 15 rounds. All right, in the earlier part of the 19th century. All right, food was better, water was better, everything wasn't tainted. All right, so these war dogs were a lot bigger, a lot stronger. Okay, you could, especially going back 500 years. Imagine how big these dogs were. A lion, a big cat, how strong they were. 500 years ago, 1,000 years ago, 10,000 years ago, which makes the event in the Bible so incredible. You think about how the mighty man jumped down in the pit and killed the lions. All right, how much stronger lions were. 2,000 years ago, 2,500 years ago, 3,000 years ago. So he's telling that from his very uneducated opinion on the subject matter, not having no spirituality or understanding on things of this nature. All right. But
this way matches his outlook. But he is right.
Well, hold on. That was an image of Dela Casas.
The most famous of the Spanish.
Let's stop right there. You can clearly see that this native is brown. All right. And I've said it before. I do believe that Bartolome de las Casas was a Jake. He had too much compassion for the natives. He was currently and always trying to get the he came over with the conquistadors, and when he saw what they were doing, he came against it immediately, and he wrote letters for 40 years trying to stop them from doing what they were doing. So it's that's just an assumption I've come to after reading about him and the compassion that he had, because Esau just had no compassion. It was either that or he was a crafty a businessman that saw that a dead native was worth nothing. We needed them alive for slavery. But he was even complaining about that. So I doubt if that be the case. He was writing against the brutal slave, how they were being worked to death in the slave mines and that whole sort of thing. So the dude just had too much compassion, which is why I've come to the conclusion that I believe, that he was Jake. Because remember how I open every video, to the Israelites among the heathens that look like the heathens. We got scattered among all people. So this isn't a color thing. Esau Edom falsely makes it that way. That's why he loves to say BHI, Black Hebrew Israelites. He's trying to make a separation. He tries to divide. He comes up with titles and wants to label everything. It's just simply the Hebrew Israelites. And we all were different shades of brown. From a light skin, yellow, lighter than this. All right. This is darker than I am. All right. And you still have people who ignorantly, call me black. Every now and then I get accused of being a Puerto Rican, but nevertheless, this guy is darker than I am. His flesh. Okay. But nevertheless, Jake goes from a light, almost like an Edomite, all the way shades, all the way up into dark chocolate, as dark as his hair. All right. So let me get one last scripture, man. Because this video really pissed me off when I watched it. When you heard the horrors of the things that those dogs were doing to people, you know, and how cruel these people were to do that. This is Ezekiel 25. Because we're gonna get them back. 12 through 14, and it reads, "Thus saith the Lord, because Edom have dealt against the house of Judah by taking vengeance and has greatly offended and revenged itself upon them. Thus saith the Lord power, I will stretch out my hand upon Edom and will cut off from them man and beast, and I will make them desolate from Teman. And they of the Dan shall fall by the sword, and I shall lay my vengeance upon Edom by the hand of my people Israel. And they shall do in Edom according to my anger and according to my fury, and they shall know my vengeance, saith the Lord power." Shalom.